Yep, that. And we're back. Just playing catch up here, everyone. Thank you, everyone, while we're dealing with. I mean, there's been some stuff going on worldwide, so, you know, big thanks to Scala Kitty for getting everything back up and going in a timely fashion. We'll try to get caught up here. Looks like Mechalink is on his way clearing out the Fey March area. Zilch just getting some more treasure chests. Zilch is just picked up his first adamant, which is going to be a great sign for him. Harumph is also clearing out the Fey March, and Commander Leonhardt looks like he's still doing some shopping and clearing out these back treasure chests in Troya, which we don't always get to because it's such a long walk, but hey, if Zilch has taught us anything, yep, dark matter, double dark matter.
Man, Zilch is tonight's winner on the Dark Matter Olympics in the strangest places. You know, he definitely is flexing his knowledge of where all these hidden chests are and just how important it is to know where they are in a Dark Matter hunt.
It's all about that efficiency, getting to the most chests per minute as you possibly can. You know, he's absolutely making great work. Commander Leonhardt had kind of a nice double pull there and some out-of-the-way chests in Troya as well. We'll see if Zilch ends up heading back that direction, but, you know, the fact that, you know, we're less than 30 minutes into this thing and we're already halfway through our Dark Matter hunt is a little bit stupid. There's just no way about it. It's just silly.
I know what you mean, but at the same time, we have not seen the Fabul Gauntlet or either of the crystals that we're going to need to do the other objectives. So this is the exact opposite of what I was expecting when coming into a Dark Matter hunt. I was expecting them to have at least one other objective opened by now. And for the life of me, I don't know why I keep saying they need 2 crystals. They only need the Darkness Crystal or a Twin Harp.
No, absolutely. And, you know, we'll be getting there. The party comp is a little bit interesting right now because we don't have a good way to kill a bunch of stuff. I mean, we're armed to the teeth at this point in time. We do have a cane that's available in Baron Inn that I think some of our runners have picked up. But otherwise, we're a party of a bunch of melee folks and Edward. And that's it. Like, it's been kind of a very uneventful party seed so far.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's still a lot of open character spots to check, but they just don't have, like you're saying, they don't have the ability to clear those checks other than the cane check, which we've seen can be done. We have a lot of racers treading very, very similar ground, but Commander Leonhardt is taking on the Kaipo cards.
Meanwhile, Zilch is getting his Demonist fight out of the way.
And we get to see that Harumph is also no stranger to the many hidden chests of the Dwarf Castle. Point just showing us that there are quite a few hidden gems that he's aware of.
A little cranny there.
And we have Zilch through his Fabul fight. Looks like he is gonna walk back down and go, ooh, he's remembering to check that little pot, which unfortunately only has a little bit of gold in it, but I've seen a lot of people recently not look at that pot, but hopefully our runners all today realize that that does exist there, even though there's not dark matter. Because you never know. At our first glance at what Sheila has, and Sheila 1 is only a Bahamut summon, which is absolutely useless for this party so far.
Alright, so Tower Sheep, my good friend. Based on the knowledge that you have now, because we've kind of run over all of the basic spots so far, where would you go next? What's kind of on your list? What makes more sense for you to go next in looking at all of this?
Looking at an admin armor, some nice spears for Kmain, I'm going to the name escapes me actually. The where Edge is from, because there's 2 trap chests there, and a couple other chests you can check with, with those key items. You may just find something that you need there. So I'm actually surprised nobody's gone there, do that, get a couple levels, because lives are available.
Oh, Evelyn Castle.
Evelyn, that's it. Yes.
Evelyn Castle, it does have 3 trap chests there. That would be a pretty attractive check right now. I would be a little bit concerned about levels, but we have a Rune Axe Sid, and then a very nice Dragoon Spear Adamant Kmain as well that we could take there. So it wouldn't be too much trouble. You wouldn't be able to gain a ton of levels from there, but that would be a very attractive spot at this point in time. Mount Ordeals is possible. There's no trap treasures there, and it's very treasure light, which is its downside. But it's also 3 bosses, and we're still hunting for the full gauntlet boss and a key item spot for that as well.
I tend to avoid ordeals, especially when I have a lot of other areas open to me. Just because, especially if you find the gauntlet up there, great, but if you don't, it could just be a very large time sink with 3 bosses and a nice lengthy cutscene. So I'm just not a fan of the play. But a lot of people are, and I'm sure people have done that and made good decisions, and one because of going to ordeals early.
Yeah, I mean, Cecil would probably make it more attractive because we do have a crystal sword, but we don't have a Cecil right now. So I can absolutely see avoiding it, ordeals right now. Another place that might be attractive, I mean, 2 places. We have Dwarf Castle, which, if I'm being honest, I'm also looking at my party going, I need another party member. Dwarf Castle, I can get another party member. That might be attractive. Also, the Lower Battle Tower, we don't have the tower key, but there's a significant number of trap chests in there as well.
Yeah, I those are all very good points, and I think the Dwarf Castle I'd be a little scared of, especially knowing that Nope Rope is down there. I don't think that this party is going to be able to handle Ogopogo that easy. Even with the Kmain might be able to handle him, but it's going to be rough for everybody else in the party. And it looks like we have Commander Leonhardt giving it a go at the Dwarf Castle.
Meanwhile, Zilch is going to be picking up his Kmain. I think, Zilch has a level, so he should have no problems here.
And it looks like Ogopogo putting a little bit of scary damage out there, considering that Leonhardt actually, another reason I try to avoid the spot is because he doesn't have a white mage. So he's going to get whittled down really quickly if he doesn't finish off Ogopogo.
Yeah, it's going to be real interesting to see how he handles it. Yeah, Because Ogopogo, the Nope Rope punches hard there too, in addition to his wave doing percentage-based damage. So, yeah, that's a ticking time bomb. We might have to dodge Dwarf Castle. Tower's still looking good, though.
The only other place that I might consider going to, if I can find Starveils, is trying to get Golbez to kill himself in the Fey March. Because if you could get a Starveil off, you could hide Edward so you have at least 3 people up. And, you might be able to get him to hide in time. It could be a good play, and you'd get a decent amount of levels from killing a Fey March boss. But that's assuming you can find I've seen a couple people find Starveils.
We do see Leonhard over here clearing out the Troya treasure, the smaller treasure room, the only 8 treasure chests in one location treasure room, which are still really kind of an awesome one.
And what some people don't realize is, though, that there is invisible switches at the entrance to all those doors. So you could, if you ever get stuck in one, just keep walking back and forth on that little switch there, and you'll be let out. You could force the timer to go a little bit faster.
Power Robe, that's always nice to see. I enjoy Power Robe on a Yang. Twisted Flax in chat bringing up a good point. One of the problems with these, for those who like treasure seeds, when you're opening every treasure chest you possibly can, doing a dark matter hunt, is inventory management, which is a big deal.
Oh yeah, that will definitely slow you down if you're not using the R button when you open chests, which allows you to put the item right back. So if you end up picking up, another wooden hammer or a spear that isn't really going to help you, you can just press R and slap it back in the chest. And
Zilch.
You can see... Go ahead.
Oh, I'm so sorry, and I didn't mean to interrupt you. I do apologize, but remember how we said, yeah, there's 3 bosses up on Ordeals, but none of them are the full gauntlet and what you're looking for. Man, that's a huge waste of time.
Well,
guess what's up on Ordeals?
Well, considering that there's no trap chests, I think that's the full gauntlet. So that's with 20 dark matter and the Fabul Gauntlet in his sights. He is sitting in a really good position right now, having gone up Ordeals with the party he has.
Yeah, it's a little bit confusing because, I mean, it's nice if you're hunting for a boss, and that, Ordeals makes it a little bit nicer. It's a little bit surprising that he did go up there. I know I threw it out there. I was just, doing my best, Shannon and Skip impression at that point, just trying to have conversations, stir the pot up. I didn't expect anyone to do it, but here it is.
And while Fabul's Gauntlet's being fought, Harumph showing off a very effective way of dealing with inventory management. If you select the garbage can, you can then push that onto other objects or other items to throw them out in mass. You don't have to drag items one by one to the garbage can. It's a little helpful trick that some people don't know about, but it definitely saves you a lot of time from having to scroll up and down the menu a bunch of times.
We do see Mecha Link is doing those Eblin checks as well, as you mentioned, those 3 trap chests. Nothing from them so far, but man, this might be super interesting if we can get anything from them. Yeah, he's trying to set things up just right to get the life glitches going.
It may not net him a bunch of levels, but at these low levels, it'll at least be a nice boost for him. Zilch is through his Fabul Gauntlet and probably very happy at this point at where he's sitting. Because if Ordeals ends up having either the Twin Harp or the Darkness Crystal, he Well, he's probably hoping for the twin harp because nobody wants to go complete the giant. Especially not with a way to grind D machines.
Oh yeah, we have no casters whatsoever.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little scary. But speaking of D machines, I hear rumors that there is a new strategy for getting the D machine fight without having to run away from fights. Since in the new Z3 flags you can't run, so maybe we might see a little bit of that going on if they can find a caster.
Yeah, shout out to the community who did just discover this tech and published a great read and walkthrough. If you go ahead and join us over on our Discord channel. The D Machine grind in the Giant Babel is a well-known grinding opportunity that if you have the right team set up, someone who can cast weak, it makes for a very efficient grind. There's some manipulation that you can do where you run into a certain number of enemies at certain number of steps outside Baron where it's super easy. And once you hit a certain number of steps with a certain number of enemies that come up, it guarantees the next enemy you run into, if it's in the Giant of Babel, will be a D machine. That is the perfect grind setup.
And our one of our trackers, Twisted Flax, pointing out that this flag set actually doesn't have encounters on, so there won't be any D machine grinding.
Boo. I did see from Zilch the pan from our Mount Ordeals climb, so we might go smack Young in the face down in the basement. I thought I saw Mechalink pick, I saw yellow text at the end, but I didn't see what he actually picked up. So there was something in Eblin Castle.
Yeah, it scrolled by too fast for me to be able to identify what it was as well. The pan had us distracted.
He has Adamant and Legend.
Oh my.
And a package.
Well, it may not be super useful things. He can at least get his 5th character now if he wants to sit through a bit of a cutscene. So, may not really be worth it, but depending on who that character is, it might be worth at least checking it. Especially if he finds like an Edge or a Cecil, that could really make his day, because I've seen several good weapons for Edge, not to mention he could just throw some of the high tier weapons that they're finding.
Well, plus, I mean, a Cecil would just be fantastic because of that crystal sword that we got right off the bat that I don't think any of our runners have sold yet, because they're like, no, we're gonna hold it just in case. Oh, Tella.
Nope.
No.
Even though Ordeals is required, I don't think I'd sit through that cutscene for a Tella either, because there's so many other character spots they're gonna probably end up going across just to get levels that I don't think I'd take Tella.
Hawkblaze are pointing out that there's another dark matter in the Ordeals Chocobo Forest. All the hidden spots, man. All the hidden spots.
Dark matters are not meant to be just, up in your face. It's fun to see them hidden and making the runners have to really test their knowledge of where treasures can exist in this game.
Mechalink is turning in, and now he is going and he's finding all the other things in the Cocoa Shop and doing it a little bit more efficiently because he can go to this. Oh my goodness. He can go to this shop. This shop had a lot going on for it right at the moment.
And he also happens to have 2 crystal swords, so he'll sell one of those because may as well get the extra money.
Yeah, it's for crystal rings and ribbons.
Just some casual ribbons in the shop, nothing special. Yeah, he's definitely got quite a bit of defense now, so he's sitting in a really good position, having gone into Eblon and found that adamant. And it looks like we have two of our runners now having completed ordeals, which means that we have 2 pans and 2 runners who have at least one objective complete.
We do see both the Zilch and Commander Leonhard now going through the tower with the treasure chests that are trapped in there. I believe 5? I hope my trackers can help me out. I'm a little rusty on my chest knowledge, but I think it's 5 total that are in the tower, the lower tower, about 4? Okay. Thank you, Flurry.
It's a shame that they don't have any edge, because he can steal sirens from those alerts. And while random encounters are, ooh, that was a key item that it flew by on my screen. Zilch picked up something. It looks like it.
Darkness.
Oh no. Oh, that's not what he wanted to find. That opens up giant.
That's what we wanted him to find, though.
Oh, it is. And we see that Commander Leonhard has also found the Darkness Crystal and is fighting with his inventory to be able to put it down, or to be able to take it with him.
Oh, and a pass is in the tower as well. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, all of the objectives tonight do not require the runners to leave Earth, so they can get the crystal, and if they get that pass, they don't ever have to go to the moon.
Mecha Link trying this Ogopogo again, and you know what? Levels is not what's going to help Ogopogo, because that percentage base damage will just always knock the Tukus right off of you. It's just such a hard spot, especially when you don't have any sort of white mage.
Yeah, it looks like he's only hitting them for 1 with those crystal rings, so as long as he has a couple cures or can tank, maybe 2 more rounds, which he might be able to survive, considering he's getting hit for 1 damage, he might be alright for this one. It's going to be close. Yeah, 1 more wave will wipe that party out, so he's gotta hope and pray right now.
Oh man, that's a bit of a clincher. But I mean, to Mecha Link's, gets a little bit of a party advantage here. Depends on who shows up.
It's definitely hope for someone who knows some white magic, but we're gonna see who it is. Ooh, now that is a definite advantage.
The superior white mage. Although you have a Leviathan about to cast wave on everyone.
Oh no! This is
GG.
So the dwarves apparently have a snake problem. That is unfortunate to find.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that
is
1-2 punch. Oh no, and here comes another big wave.
He did so good just getting through, and then another snake. And in the Govis spot, that Leviathan is going to be really fast. He is not going to hesitate to just flood that back room.
He doesn't have a ton of hit points, so if you can get at least decent survivability from Ogopogo, then I think you'll be in a much better spot. And he's trying again. He knows. He's like, okay, now that I know what I'm going in for.
Yeah, now that he knows he's got to go in, hopefully he's just going to say, okay, at the end of that fight, let me just keep throwing cures on Kmain or on somebody to keep them up, and that one person will be able to put him down. Kmain with his dragon, his enhanced damage versus dragons with spears, because I believe he's got the Dragoon Spear equipped and an Adamant, should be able to tank the percentage-based damage and any physical damage that comes his way if he just gets a couple cures here and there. And we see Zilch going into the mini Troya armory and picking up, a couple treasures here and there and getting his power shirt. And if you noticed on his screen, the power shirt appeared twice. And as we were mentioning before, that's because he's been throwing things back into the chest. And when you do that, you can pick them back up. So it's a good way to manage your inventory. If you see something you want, you just pick it back up again. But then you don't have to fight with that inventory screen as much. Especially in a seed like this, it's an extremely handy trick to have.
All right, so Mechalink is attempting his round 2. Zilch is going into the Twin Harp. Does he have the Twin Harp?
He's got another adamant. So, there's that.
I mean, that's nice. Oh, he's just chest checking right now.
Yes, I didn't see him pick up the Twin Harp. But, for chest checking, that's a really good find. Not sure I could ask for much better. And Mechalink taking down 2 snakes. Mechalink right now is sitting there quoting Indiana Jones saying, "Why did it have to be snakes? I hate snakes."
I mean, I'm not a big fan of snakes either, but sometimes you just got to deal with it. So good job, Mechalink, for getting through that. Moon Edge. Okay.
That is gonna be fantastic, especially if he finds a Twin Harp, because he's got 2 Masamunes. Oh, he only has 1 of them. I guess he may not have found the second Masamune, but some of our runners have found 2 of them, which would make him a force to be reckoned with.
I still give the party edge to Mechalink, White Mage. I mean, there's only so much you can do with the party, 5 Zerk strats. I don't know about that.
Yeah, there's only so much you could face tank before you end up regretting it. But having both it is possible to use Yang and/or Sid as just a chemist and Zerk the other people and just have them start throwing damage out as best they can. Because if they do find the spoon, Edward can equip it, so he is not completely useless. A spoon adamant armor Edward is a high source of damage with a lot of speed behind him.
That is true. My goodness. I just looked over at the Harump's screen and saw him pick up back-to-back Masamune and Crystal Sword in the Eblin Kessel. That's silly.
I mean, the Masamune at least makes sense. Being where Edge is from, okay, they have a legendary weapon. But why do they have a Crystal Sword just hanging out? Just to pay homage to the nearby paladins?
No, you see, what was going on is they were doing weapons tests against each other to prove which legendary weapon was actually better. And they hid them in pots because they weren't supposed to be experimenting. That was actually against. They had some people from Acidia come over and say, "Guys, we can't. This is illegal testing, weapons testing. We can't do that here."
That would explain why they're in such unguarded locations. And we see that Commander Leonhardt is about to find out that he's got 2 snakes, and that's never fun. But having a edge in his party might give him no pun intended, a bit of an edge in this fight. Mecha Link has decided to go after the warrior chest in the Fey March, the path to Fey March. So we're gonna see if he ends up finding anything helpful there.
Zilch is slowly approaching his 30 dark matter. I mean, we have the dark crystal, so we could theoretically go do that if we want to. No one wants to.
I mean, you know, they may opt to do the giant because we still haven't seen the twin harp. You know, maybe Mecha will get it out of the warrior chest, but it could be hidden in the hairdryer chest on the moon. You know, we have no idea where it could be right now. And there's so many options.
So here's what I do. Like, if I'm these runners at this point in time, because we're searching for a boss in the Fabul Gauntlet, or we're searching for, let's see, or the Twin Heart. Or, so honestly, like, if I'm them, I'm going up to the moon and I'm starting to clear out the trap treasure chest up on the moon as well, until I find one of the other two. Like, and if I happen to find, I guess, because that's only the key item. I'm confusing myself a little bit here.
I'll say, if it was up to me, whether I get Edge or Rosa or both, my instinct is going to be take on as many of the trap chests in the Sylph Cave as I can, especially if I'm Zilch or Harumph, because I have the pan. I could hit him, and then I could do the spoon check from Sheila and potentially get a key item. You know, I know I may not be able to take all of them, but I'll get a couple levels, and I'm going to be able to, you know, at least do something there.
Yeah, I think I confused myself because I'm so used to thinking that you can just do the bosses and, you know, go do some bosses and maybe you get the twin harp while you're doing the bosses and you can completely fade it. But no, that's not a thing we can do because the bosses up on the moon won't have key items for us.
Right, and neither will the initial hit to Yang with the pan, so that may be throwing some people off, forgetting that Sheila 2 should still have a key item, or at least is a key item check.
Zilch is doing the monster in a box in the last arm fight. This is an interesting fight, but he's got his adamants. I think he's decked enough.
Yeah, he may be able to take this last arm out, but the ability to just stop a party member is always scary, because if he magnets the wrong party member, that could end poorly.
So Leonhardt is really the first person who has managed to ditch Edward, honestly, because we haven't found the spoon yet. So he's like, I got my Edge, I got a Rosa, I'm fine, I'm happy.
However, should he find that spoon, the buy flag is not on, so they can go back and pick up characters. So, you know, if he finds spoon, he can still get an adamant wielding bard and, you know, make some good physical damage, but until then, you know, there's really just no reason to keep him in your party.
Sid was also the only one that really survived that last little bit, so we'll come over here and I'm sure he'll rest up and continue on, at least peak these bosses.
Yep. I mean, even if he saves it, he does get a free heal at the beginning of the vanilla 4 Fiends fight. so he doesn't have to worry about healing everybody up this time around. He can see who's there. You know, I bet he's hoping for Water Hag or King and Queen Evelyn. There's a couple fights here that could make this at least a little more smooth. And he gets a Lunar.
I mean, is it something nice at least? Like Paled In or no? Okay, Plague.
I mean, if he managed to buy lives, he could just continually kill Edward and just keep bringing him back. But that would just be a very long, drawn-out fight that I'm not sure what he's... Looks like he's just gonna Berserk Edge and just hope for the best. Oh, I see. He's using the kamikazes to have the timer reset. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't see the kamikazes in his inventory. I was trying to figure out why he wasn't dealing with that issue.
Yep, one step at a time. He's setting himself up to be able to do this pretty well.
Yeah, with a very fast Edge who's only going to get faster thanks to Plague, and that 2k damage per swing, he should be able to do this.
Problem was everyone started dropping.
Oh, and he cast fast
yeah.
count. But he did manage to get Sid back up before the count went away. Ooh, and it refreshes just in time. This is ideal. Now he's got 3 people. He could just do it when the count gets low. Wow, that worked out in his favor.
Yeah, he's sitting on it now. He's like, okay.
And
There's gonna be a ton of experience for whoever is standing by the end of this.
Oh yeah, this will be a nice boost to those levels.
Meanwhile, Commander Leonhardt is clearing out Evelyn. Mecha Link is also going up to the moon, going to be picking up his edge directly. Harumph is checking out Dwarf Castle just one last time.
So he's taking advantage of that healing pot because I don't think he's found any tents or cabins or anything like that he could use. He might go check Luca to see what's in there. He's got the key. Oh, looks like he's gonna go Sylph and maybe use that pan. Check some of the trap chests on the way down. Zilch's Edge is still just pounding away at that plague. We now have 2 of our 4 runners who have a very nice party composition, having both Rosa and Edge, so they will do quite a bit of damage. And we see on Zilch's screen that 0 count coming up and Plague going down, getting 7, 10 levels there. So that'll put him in a relatively good position going forward.
Yeah, that was impressive. I mean, all around, just fantastic gameplay by Zilch there. Now he'll heal up, and ironically, the CPU fight is easier. Like when you don't have to have the actual CPU there.
Oh, I like the CPU right there because it's a percentage-based attack. You just deal with it. I've seen like a pain man here, and that is scary.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Um, it could be, depending on what claws Yang has, and if he has any good items to deal with that. She might not.
We might be setting ourselves up if we can survive long enough. Well, I mean, Kane does have a Dragoon Lance, so he's going to be able to do quite a bit of damage.
Yeah.
But we'll see how long. If we can live through it, we might see the Toad Reflect strats, maybe?
I think he's just trying to survive it. I don't think he's got the turns to get that Starveil up and survive. I think he's got to pick one right now.
No, I think that's fair.
But Kane doing almost quad 9s on that second jump is he's not taking this fight lightly.
No, he's working it. He's doing his best.
And that goes back to your point about the adamant armor being extremely overpowered, because even with just a Dragoon Lance, he would not be doing nearly as much damage.
Wow, slow clap Zilch gets through that. That's amazing. First one through the Giant of Babel. He'll be rewarded with another character. I mean, I think his party's set. Oh, he doesn't have White Mage yet, does he?
He does not. He did not do Dwarf Castle.
That's the wrong old man we're looking for.
I mean, who doesn't like seeing Tella? I think the answer is everyone. At least he's a good anchor. Without a Cecil, he's a good anchor.
Dismissing Young, that's interesting. He says, "Yeah, I'm good with my, my carpet over here in Edward, but nah, I'm gonna get rid of my Punch Mage."
I could see that. If he wants to use any of the boosts from the claws, just give the clawed edge. If he wants to have somebody who could tank a whole bunch of stuff, that's what Sid's for. I can see why he would do that.
I guess it also helps that Yang spent most of those two fights dead. Like, if he had gotten a lot of levels through all of that, I think I'd be a little bit more hesitant to get rid of him. Because once he has his levels with him, he's fine, regardless of your equipment setup.
True. And Zilch just did an interesting thing. He left the Cursed Ring on Sid and just moved him out of the middle slot. I guess because he just wants Kane attacking as fast as possible. He's not worried about these monsters being fast because they're not going to be able to take out Kane.
Chat pointing out that, he's close to dark matter. He's now done the Giant. I mean, he only needs... He's pretty close, all things considered.
Yeah, but finding the remaining dark matter could prove to be a very difficult matter because he's already checked some of the more obscure places, and he's probably not going to be that inclined to go to the moon to just search for dark matter.
Well, we also have Twin Heart, so we haven't so the two random quests are completing the Twin Heart quest line, and then completing the Giant of Babel. Then we have the 30 dark matters or finding the Fabul Gauntlet. I guess he did find the Fabul Gauntlet, and that was up on Mount Ordeals. So he's done the Gauntlet, he's done the Giant. If he just goes to high density locations, finds 5 dark matter, he's done. He's got his crystal. And we're going to completely skip music, and everyone will hate you, Zilch. I hope you understand that.
Just had to go and show off that he could take the giant at low levels. And I mean, the other thing too is he may end up finding the twin harp on the moon in one of the trap chests. So, we don't. It could be behind Sheila 2, it could be behind one of those trap chests. We don't know where it is right now. We haven't seen it. So it'll be interesting to see how these runners handle that. And I don't believe anyone has actually checked the boss at the top of the tower.
Well, Mechalink and Commander Leonhardt are still working their way through all the sylph chests, and there are quite a few treasure chests in the sylph cave. 7 at last count. It's just a huge number.
Yeah, there are quite a few. Now with this flag set, if I'm not mistaken, the top tower still does have a key item.
Yes, absolutely. That's just where a normal key item location is.
Right. I sometimes forget because it's very rare that that these community races have this particular set of key items enabled.
It is a little bit of an odd one, absolutely.
So there's still plenty of places on Earth that can be, but having 26 dark matter, Zilch is probably going to be inclined to just, or 27 dark matter at this point. He's probably going to be inclined just to go to the moon and hope he finds it up there, because it's more likely that he'll find 3 dark matter and be able just to walk up to the Zeramus than find the twin harp, walk into Cave Magnus, which he's already dove, and then walk back out of Cave Magnus. So he might just, or maybe he's gonna check Luca first and hope that it's in there. The missing dark matter.
It's interesting that he's going into Luca Cave. There's no trap chest in here, but so there's 1 key item location, and that's it. So this is, you know what? This is a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it plays out.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just looking for dark matter. He doesn't care about trap chests. He does not care about that twin harp. He knows he doesn't need it. Oh, another pass. That's always good.
Yeah, Zilch only needs 3, and to that end, absolutely. Like, if he's just doing treasure chests, it's like somewhere on the Earth where we know there's a high density of treasure chests. There are quite a few treasures in here. The problem is they're pretty scattered throughout here, so I doubt he is going to be killing the boss. He might just get out once he does. Not a whole, no dark matters yet, though.
Right. I mean, the nice thing is he can at least peek what that item is, and if it's not the twin harp, then we'll probably see a reset, unless he finds dark matter. So far, this cave has given him nothing.
I mean, there's one.
All right, he's making progress, and it looks like we have both Mechalink and Commander Leonhardt on the same trap chest at the same time, which is always fun to see them high fives going on. And while we have a bit of a break in the action, so to speak, I just want to point out that tonight, due to it being a dark matter race, we actually have 2 trackers. And they are doing a lot of work behind the scenes, keeping track of what comes out of what chests, both key items and dark matter. So, thanks for all the hard work there, Twisted Flax and Elias. I can only imagine how hard this is, trying to track all that information when it flies by on the screen. You guys are doing a wonderful job.
Harum shows us a Cecil alive in Cave Eplin. Man, it's a little late in the game for him right now, but you know, he might be worth a pickup. We have the crystal sword.
We do have a crystal sword, and I don't know that Harumph has done any grinding so far, so he may be inclined to take that sea slow, especially over in Edward. You know, if he still needs levels, may as well take him.
Oh, absolutely. Zilch is noping out. He's one short. Oh my.
And speaking of the restream team, I also want to give a shout out to Scala Kitty, who is fighting the true boss, the Twitch demon, who is being very uncooperative tonight and doing a fantastic job winning that fight.
Zonkers in chat asked, is Zilch in go mode when he gets his dark matter? Yeah, he's in go mode. The other quest that he's completed, the Fabul Gauntlet, was up on Mount Ordeals. He went and checked that, and then he did go ahead and complete the Giant of Babel, and got that as well. He hasn't done Dwarf Castle yet, so you know the White Mage that everyone else has at this point in time, Rosa, was only available from Dwarf Castle, so he's rocking Edward and Tella in the same party. He's been very efficient with his checks, and he's been making do with a lot of them. Oh, there's dark matter up here.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Chat just mentioning it, and then him and Zilch going, "Oh hey, I have a pass. I should probably check here first." So it looks like he's just gonna rest up and he's gonna try to make this happen right now.
Well, we do have to turn in the dark matter to Corey, and
right. A short flight away, not too bad. He's already in the overworld. We officially have our first runner in go mode at 1:16:42.
I don't know what Zelch's level situation looks like right at the moment. And he's got Tella as his only healer. But Edge and Kane both rocking adamants. Might be okay.
I think Zilch is going to make this happen because if there's someone comfortable at low levels, it's Zilch. He's got his key party members in their 30s. I think we're going to see some of the glory of his low level strats that he pulls off. Meanwhile, our other three runners are all in Sylph Cave, just trying to check them chests, probably hoping for a twin harp to avoid the giant.
And yeah, he's going for it. All right, we have a question that we'd like to ask here in the Final Fantasy IV free enterprise community. Whose butt are we kicking tonight?
I'm going to go with the tried and true Dude Miss. One of my favorite to see because it's just so unassuming. You wouldn't expect it to be a final boss.
You know, it is a whole lot of fun to guess this, and I do want to give a huge shout out to everyone in the community who has submitted it, and Scala for curating everything that goes on in the background. So much work goes into making sure that we can make Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise a unique experience, and this and then the Twin Harp are two of the main really standout pieces for this particular randomizer. So big shout out to Scala, who does all the curating and managing all of that, but for everyone else who also contributes ideas. You know, there's also forums if you want an idea to be seen. You know, they're not guaranteed, but they're under consideration.
And it looks like Sylph Cave did not really have much in terms of key items.
All right, his true colors are emerging. Mewtwomus.
Now, you know what? Mewtwo I could see him being a final boss. This makes sense. You want magic, a little bit of physical, and something who's just overall scary and can decimate an entire party? You've got Mewtwo. And it looks like on our other runners, Mechalink has decided to go up the Giant of Babel, hoping just to get another one of his objectives done.
I hope that Sid is trying to throw a cure, unless they're planning on Kane dying. So they're planning on Kane dying. Okay. And Atella. Ouch.
It looks like the strategy is just keep Edge alive, keep Edward hidden. Because he's waiting for that next big bang to probably just pop Edward out. Ed doing
Sure.
3,000 a hit though is nothing to be sneezed at.
Yep, Eddie Strat's coming in, so Edward is going to show himself.
And there's the black hole, so Starveil and a whole bunch of crystal shenanigans is what it looks like is going to happen.
Yeah, but I mean, effectively, you know, Zeromus has a strat set up to where whenever you cast a spell on him, he will counter with a nuke. Yep. But if you're only the rest of your party is dead, and the only thing that's happening is he's reflecting off him. Oh. Ooh.
Oh, he does not get the hide off in time. That is unfortunate.
Eddie strats are very good when you can pull them off. When you can't,
Interestingly enough, this time he's leaving Edward dead.
everyone gets a full health refill as soon as you
One day,
enter the fight.
one day I'll remember that. It's not today. Every time before a Zeromus fight, out of habit from when I was a kid, gotta have everyone fully healed before you walk into that fight.
Right. Mechalink is actually now on his. He's doing his giant fight, so he's on Plague right now.
Let me see, Harumph has completed his Sylph Cave adventures and is now leaving to greener pastures. Commander Leonhardt checking a bunch of pots all around. Everyone hoping to find the missing dark matter so that he doesn't have to go diving too far into any other locations. He's 2 away from completing that, from getting enough to turn in.
I'm telling you right now, the difference has been Sylph just absolutely full clearing everything, especially those out of the way, hard to reach treasure chests that had. I mean, we saw one in a Chocobo Forest outside Ordeals. We saw 2 in kind of the hidden pots in Dwarf Castle. You know, there have been weird dark matter locations kind of all over this game, and he's been running roughshod all over it, just doing an amazing job full clearing everything.
And another thing that definitely paid off for him was finding Plague where he did. He was able to get a lot of experience off of that fight. I think it was a total of 24 levels, 7 on 2 his characters on 10 on another. And that really put him in a good spot to clear out some of the other fights that he's had so far, so he hasn't had to do too much grinding. Because Plague, just manipulating that timer, that was just a really fantastic job by him of knowing exactly how to fight a boss.
Zilch is going to reset out again. Eddie ended up falling over, could not get him to hide first. So, what are we doing here?
Mechalink just letting himself get wiped to Plague instead of resetting out. And as we can see right now, while Leonhardt may have 29 dark matter, he has a Dark Knight Cecil, which means he has not done Ordeals yet. And it looks like that Dark Knight Cecil is going to point him in the right direction, because he is exiting right out of there and going hopefully right to Ordeals to find that gauntlet that he has not gotten to yet.
Luckily, it's right next door, too.
Indeed. Zilch looks like he's going up to the moon. I thought he took the whale for a second. Looks like he's going in for round 3. And he definitely has the skill to pull this off. It is just an extremely hard strategy to do. So, props to him for trying to make this happen. I'm rooting for him.
Mechalink ends up pulling off. He has Eddie dead again. Okay.
He managed to get the reflected doom on to Plague, and now he's just trying to bring his party up, I guess, for the levels.
Yep, and it falls over because Plague's count works on him when reflected.
Looks like we have the Harumph cleaning up some of those trap chests. I'm sorry, trap chests in the Earth Crystal, Tower of Zot. So if nothing else, he may find some characters that are at least a little better suited for his purposes. Because once again, he has not done his grind. So if he finds characters he wants, he's more at liberty to take them. He does have some levels on his Cecil, but you know, not everyone's comfortable finding Zeramis at level 30. So being boosted by his key items, he might opt to do a quick grind to get somebody up to speed.
Even at this level, like early to mid 30s, like at that point, I'm invested. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm not as confident as you. I like to be at least, closer to 40.
Well, I mean, in terms of the levels, yeah, but you're so close at this point. I wouldn't swap out any party members myself. I mean, the party that we have, completely workable.
True.
And I don't like the gear that we've had at this point. Like I'm having a hard time thinking of a character that I would swap out, in Harum's party right now.
That is true. I forgot Harumph had the season. I thought he still had an Edward. And I was going to say, Edward, until he's at least in his 40s, is just extremely weak and becomes, unless you're going to do what Zilch is doing, he becomes a very big liability to have in your party. Because he's just extra commands to issue.
All right, so Zilch, going to be doing vampire strats now.
With Kane's HP pool, that could be very advantageous for him to do. Because he'll be able to survive those big bangs, whether they're nerfed or not.
It looked like he got off the nerf in the right timing. Ooh, okay, that might be someone I'd consider bringing to my party.
Yeah, some pre-level 50'd party member for you with all the bosses he's fought. He probably knows most of, if not all of his spells at this point. Mechlink completing his giant.
Oh no, he got black hole. Okay.
He saw it coming. Zilch is ready to go. And he's right back on those vampires, making sure he's got enough life to tank anything that Zeramis is going to throw at him.
Also looks like Harum traded out his Sid for a food, which, hey, I mean, that works just fine.
And actually, healer's never a bad thing. And someone who could, he's going straight up healer with him, giving him the life staff and the ribbon. Our other three racers are all very close to having 30 of their dark matter, and Mechlink is hoping and praying he could find those last 5, because he also is 2 objectives in. Zilch is starting to run out of vampires. He might be starting to get a little bit scared.
Well, he has a ton of Cure 3s and Star Veils still, so even if he runs out, I think we'll start seeing him alternate between Crystal and Cure 3s.
That is true. He could end up using those Cure 3s and the crystals you mentioned.
Yeah, the real key to this strategy, though, is making sure that you don't, because Zero Mist has an HP refill halfway through his fight that does not trigger if you manipulate it so that he's only really doing big damage based on reflected magic, like his nukes back at his face. But if you vampire him at just the right time, he can still get that HP refill in. So yeah, he's switching over to the crystal right now. He wants to make sure that he doesn't push him over, although I mean, he came close.
So Harumph may not do giant as he doesn't have darkness, but he did find the twin harp, so we may get our hero who's gonna play us some music. And he will also be extremely happy to find that there's an adamant just laying in that cave.
True. Absolutely true.
Yep, looks like Harumph is going to give us our first taste of music, which is always good to see. A little bit scared for Zilch there. I know he's got those Cure 3s, but the timing on everything he needs to happen is very, very tight, and it's always just a little bit scary.
Hamal1 in chat is asking, what does the crystal do in this fight aside from revealing his true form? What it does is it counts as a spell being cast on him, but it does no damage. This is this is what he wants to happen because it's a spell that's cast on him, which is causing him to trigger a nuke counter. So it's baiting him into countering. You'll often see this also done on a wyvern fight, for example. If a single mega nuke reflect doesn't actually kill him, summoning like a Bahamut will trigger a mega nuke response from wyvern. So you can just kind of keep doing that as well.
Right, and as Vitasia mentioned earlier, the spells bounced off of Kmain's Starveil are not going to trigger that HP refill. That's why he doesn't want to be throwing vampires or any other items he may have that will do damage to Zero Mist at this point, because it could trigger that refill and put him in a bad position. And it also just drags the fight out, even if he's got the cures to deal with it. It's just biting your nails that much longer. Nobody wants to be doing that.
Yeah, from my memory, I think it's something like it gets a 60k refill. Like he has 60,000 health, and then he gets a refill at 60,000. So it's effectively half his health if you can cut it off at the right time. 65k Scala, I believe that. I know it's in that range.
Commander Leonhardt is working on his plague fight as well. I see a bunch of zeros, and that's just scaring me right now.
I think he's glitched it. Yeah.
Yep.
He's glitched. He managed to get the glitch going. Jay Hootie, the reason why the spell, like, the reflected nukes seem low damage, yeah. but if you hit him with a spell at a specific time after his shakes, his big bangs are nerfed as well.
That he got that nerf off of that big bang, but that is,
it's still real close. Yeah.
yeah. I'm saying, even though you've got the Cure 3s to do this for a while longer, it is just a scary strategy to do.
Big shout out Eris's theme from Final Fantasy VII. Just a fantastic compositional piece of music from the great Nobuo Uematsu.
With that lovely theme, Harumph has completed, I believe, 2 of his objectives. And he has 28 dark matter. Meanwhile, Zilch is still fighting the good fight, and there is the flash. At an official time of 1 hour, 40 minutes, and 29 seconds, Zilch has finished in first place.
GG's to Zilch. That was, it was a bit of a rough fight, but he got there so much sooner than everyone else. GG's to Zilch. First in the entire community race to go ahead and finish. First on the restream. GG's. We'll see if he's willing to come in and chat with us for a little bit.
And as we see Mecha, well, waiting for him to join us, we see Mechalink turning in some tails, specifically the rat tail, and Commander Leonhardt finding his Tella at the end of the Giant of Babel, giving up his Yang for the Tella. I guess hoping for a better anchor.
I imagine that's what's going on. Remember about an hour ago in the race when I said, those 1 or 2 dark matters that are in those precarious locations, those might make a difference.
Saying that, yeah.
I mean, I do know that a couple of these guys have checked at least a couple of the spots, but they didn't do the full clear stuff. And joining us right now, the man, the myth, the legend, Zilch.
Hey, how's it going?
Just watching a great race. Kudos to you on your first place finish in the community race. That was, you got to see it was a little bit hairy your first couple times, but you managed to get through it.
Yeah, that was just, I forgot to change my battle speed and it wasn't going to work. I just didn't realize it till my 3rd attempt.
You using those strategies though at the low level gave you that. You were doing really good though with getting there so early. You had time to find out if you had the ability to do that. It wasn't you biting your nails near the end. So it was really fun to watch someone pull off those hard to do strategies.
Yeah, it wasn't really necessary, but it felt like a good time and fun to do. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. Because I had a siren in my inventory, 3 apples, and Ed was dealing like 4k damage a swing. So, but yeah.
Well, it was
It's
definitely
always fun to do no
watch.
grinding.
Yeah, the high pace that you were running at was definitely fun to broadcast. That we were commenting on your knowledge of all the tiny little places that you were checking, every nook and cranny, and you ended up getting all those dark matter well before everybody else. So your knowledge of where hidden chests are really came in helpful.
Yeah, I like to prioritize getting loot on these types of flag sets where it's wild or wildish, because you never know when you'll find an adamant armor or two, as it turns out, and that can really speed up everything else.
Yeah, diving the Cave Magnus, what was your thoughts that made you say, let me check Cave Magnus before I go anywhere else? Because you didn't have the Twin Harp.
Right, but I had the darkness, so I knew I was in go mode, assuming I had dark matter. I had adamant armor, so the giant was going to be free, slow but free. So I figured I'm not going to bother checking any more key items and just assume that there's enough dark matters left in the siege to just pretend I'm like in go mode. And Twin Harp location has a lot of chests there, so I figured I'd get at least 2 dark matters. And I think I got exactly 2 there. So
I believe
I think I worked out. I forgot I had the Luca key for a while, but I also kind of wanted to wait for warp at the same time, so I guess that was okay.
Yep, that made sense. I mean, you ended up with just the right amount of dark matter to not have to go check on the moon, so that worked out very well in your favor.
Yeah, I always seem to forget. Like, I tell myself when I'm in Troya, looting the chests in there, like, oh, I should go to Troya town right after and loot those, and then I always forget about it, and then that happened to be where the last dark matter was, but I don't know if there were more in the bushes there, but could have saved a lot of time.
There was one more in those bushes there, so I think there was 2 total at that point in time. But the ones that really stood out to me, let me see, there was 1 or 2 in the Cocal shop itself, and then 2 in like the hidden pots in the Dwarf Castle towers that are in those like out of the way pots that you kind of have to get into a hidden way that a lot of people skip at this point in time. But just seeing the dark matter in those sorts of tucked away, out of the way locations, I thought other people might skip them, and sure to form, everyone was 1 to 2 crystals behind you for most of the raid, or dark matter behind you for most of the race.
Yeah, I mean, with wild flags or with wild treasure, it's double benefit to loot, so I'm not going to say no to that.
Also, on behalf of chat, a lot of us, including myself, would like to thank you for showing us that there is a chest behind the stairs in Cocol's shop. I didn't know that, and several people in chat were chiming in that they also had no idea that chest even existed.
Well, happy to help. In case anyone in chat was wondering how to get trolled by like thousands of NPCs, I hope I showed that too.
You did. Let's see. The Agar pair was giving you a hard time. I mean, Grandma didn't give you a whole terrible time in Kaipo, but yeah,
She was the nicest one.
Yeah, people were just not nice to you. They knew you were going to win. They're like, we had to give everyone a chance. So, they did their thing.
Yeah, I figured I could also transform Zeromus 3 times because, hey, why not? It's fun.
I mean, at the end of the day, you did make it work and came out with that first place finish, so whatever you did, it was definitely effective.
Yep. Well, thank you.
GG again, sir.
Thanks for commentating, restreaming, and tracking, guys.
You're welcome.
Anytime, and thank you for volunteering to be on the restream as well.
Not a problem.
All right.
That was Zilch. We do have Commander Leonhardt, who's kind of right on his tail. He's doing his fight right now. I think Tello's getting ready to be a sacrificial lamb here, but then you got everyone else capable of surviving big bangs. You got probably Zerker strats coming up.
So I forget who the Harumph named WH, but whoever that is that's currently a frog has the cursed ring, and most of that person's stats are zeroed out.
I think that's Edward.
I think you're right, but unfortunately it's just the red frog, so I can't quite remember. Though Harumph does have his 30 dark matter now as well and is going to turn them in. Our remaining 3 runners all seem to be in a relatively similar position.
I'm just trying to finish things up a little bit. Mecha Link, still 2 dark matter behind. Mecha Link, did Mecha Link do the giant?
Yes, Mechalink, I believe, has done the giant.
There's at least 1 dark matter in this chest area, maybe 2. Yeah, there's 1. There's another one. I know there is.
It's in there somewhere.
There it is.
Commander Leonhardt finishing with an official time of 1 hour, 50 minutes, and 2 seconds.
Oh, man.
Oh, that was... So, for those who want to hear our sad story, at 1 minute, 49 seconds, and 49 minutes and 42 seconds was our third place finisher, Tybalt, and at 1 hour, 49 minutes, and 55 seconds was Poydrek. So within the matter of 20 seconds, we had 3 people finish back to back.
Yeah, that. Whew. I mean, GG's to everyone else. Also, I mean, while we're at it, Jeebus0 did finish in second place at 1:47.55. So he was about 2 minutes ahead of everyone else in that little group. But GG's out to everyone out in the community who ran through this. Just amazing races all over the board. It took a lot to get here. If you imagine, there was 1 white mage, and it was hidden behind double doom noodles. Thanks, but no thanks.
And the remaining 2 of our runners are both in go mode at this point. But it looks like Harumph is looking possibly for either... I'm guessing he's looking for some potions, probably some Cure 2s or Cure 3s, because he's probably a little scared, thinking, I want Cecil to be doing damage, I don't want him stuck on heal duty. And we're going to see if we can get Commander in here for an interview.
One of our trackers, Twisted Flax, is mentioning in chat that somehow Mechalink never found a pass. All of our other runners managed to find a pass somewhere, so he's going to have to take the long walk, and it's a good 2-3 minutes. I would go so far as to say that it's the longer walk. Like, it's going to take as much time for him to get through to Zeromus as the actual Zeromus fight at this point.
And we are joined by Commander Leonhardt. GG.
Thank you.
So, what are your thoughts on this seed?
It was an interesting roll. I'd expect no less from Scala. It felt like such a slow start with the sole exception of dark matter. That was flowing fast, and so I really focused on it, but I was up in the 20s and still despairing of how I was going to find what I needed to finish things.
Now, I think you were one of, if not the first runners who were on the stream that managed to actually get through to get Rosa out from the double Doom Noodle just horribleness that was in Dwarf Castle. Can you walk me through? Because I think did you go there at first and then I think there was a death at some point, or am I crossing my streams?
I reset out before the noodle took me out, but he did have 3 of my people down before I waved the flag and said, no, this is not the way. I'm gonna have to come back. Jerk took my silk web too. Fortunately, I didn't need it for Z.
Yeah, you made quick work of that Z fight. Yeah, might have something to do with all those wonderful items that were strewn about with the wild flag.
Right? I held that crystal sword forever and ever and ever, like, where is my Cecil? And I finally find him at the 11th hour.
That was something we were talking about early on, how, there wasn't much of a motivate. Like, you had the crystal sword, but there weren't any Tellas really to be found. There wasn't Cecils to be found early on. Why would anyone go to Mount Ordeals? And lo and behold, someone made an early jump to Ordeals. And there was, the bull gauntlet, so you already could check off a quest. And then eventually getting Cecil, it's just kind of icing on the cake at that point in time.
Yeah, I almost did it for that reason. I actually started halfway up and turned around. I had already bounced off Dwarf Castle, and I was running out of checks, and I remembered that I had not done the alerts in Lower Babel, and that turned me away. But there was a point where I was just wondering where I was going to find a key item.
Yeah, and it's kind of a weird mental shift. It's like, okay, there are a ton of checks up on the moon, but they're in the treasure chest. So if I'm looking for bosses, then I'm not looking for bosses because I don't care about that. And it's a weird mind game just keeping track of the flag sets, especially if you've been practicing for League.
And I felt that shift, definitely. Early on, the dark matters were rolling in fast, and I made that a focus. Looting became about where are there a bunch of chests I can grab quickly, and if there happens to be a key item in the area, fine. But once that started to sputter out, I didn't have the hourglasses. I don't personally like cheeky Eblin dives without hourglasses with a low-level party. I hate the time waste, even on K-Trap. I ran over there as soon as I got an hourglass and was still wandering around. It's like, okay, I did the flame dog, I did the alerts. I don't remember where I got that ninja anymore, but boy, did he help.
Edward was hanging out on the lunar throne, just being a moon ninja.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you. Right. Finally got the darkness and went up to the moon and found a ninja and was like, oh, now we can get to work.
Yeah, everyone saw that and also saw, oh wait, I have an objective that requires this darkness. Now I have someone who could help me complete that objective with this low-level party. So, getting that edge definitely opened up a lot for people.
Yeah, I thought about it when I got it and decided that if there were bosses I couldn't handle, it was going to be a long walk back out, and decided to run around and deal with the things that the ninja opened up for me. I felt fine with Eblin at that point. I had my revenge on the noodle, and fortunately that worked out, saving the giant till the end. Because even with even as I'm walking down the mountain, I'm torn on what to do next. It's like, oh, I found the gauntlet. Suddenly I'm thinking go mode. I'm one dark matter shy, and I'm looking over my objectives. I've got an earth crystal. I could run in there and see if I can find a harp. I just found a pan. Maybe the pan check's giving me the harp. But what ultimately swayed me was that I had a level 1 paladin miles and miles behind, and if my party's capable of taking out that elements boss, then my paladin's going to shoot ahead of them all. And Fortunately, there was a plague.
Yeah, that was definitely a very lucky boss to find in the giant, because that spot can be really treacherous with some bosses. But finding Plague there, who's just going to keep counting at you, you know, it's one of the more fortunate things to find.
Yeah, that was fortunate. It was also very fortunate that when I ducked into Silvera to look for dark matter, I slipped into the item shop since we're on Standard, and that cursed ring told me, okay, I can have 4 RA1 Berserkers against Plague. That I care about nothing else now.
That makes it a little bit easier, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Go
ahead.
Final question. I mean, as our last 2 runners on stream are starting or midway through their Z fights, just kind of last question. You know, was there any point in time that you felt further behind or further ahead, or did you finish and you felt like, yeah, that feels like a 5th place, or you know, what did it feel like as you were going through it?
It felt really behind up until well, I didn't see any duns, of course, so that always gives me help. But I still felt done and a little behind right up until I found the gauntlet. And then suddenly everything starts clicking. It's like, no wonder no one found the gauntlet. Who had a reason to come here? And suddenly it's like, well, we can go now. And then Zilch hits, and then the others come in. It's like, all right, well, you know what? This is still a good finish.
Well, once again, thank you for being one of our restreamed runner. It was a pleasure to watch you run, and you had a lot of fun decisions that were fun to talk about. So thank you again for being restreamed.
Absolutely glad to. Thank you all for taking care of tracking this this fun time and commentating and restreaming and putting on the show for us, making it happen.
Now, GG's Commander Leonhard, and joining us now is the Harumph. Does finish in 7th place with a time of 2 hours and 11 seconds. GG's. Harumph, are you there?
While Harumph fixes the audio issues right now, I also want to just say GG to some of the other racers that we had finished in the meantime. We've had PK finish in 6th place with a time of 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 1 second. And shortly after Harumph, in 8th place, Rex Rawl finished with a time of 2 hours and 39 seconds. So once again, within the span of a minute, we had 3 people finish back to back.
You know, GG's to the community that's out there. And I do want to give kind of a special shout out to our wonderful trackers who did all sorts of work keeping track of everything. Both Twisted Flex and Elias, the Panda, who are there in chat as well. Big shout out to you guys. You did so much of the work behind the scenes, and it helped us make us look good. So big shout out to you guys.
Looks like Mechalink is on to meatballs. The last of our restreamed runners is getting down to the last of this fight. With that Cecil coming in, hitting hard. Kane hitting actually harder than a Crystal Sword Cecil, and there it is. GG to Mechalink, finishing in 9th place with an official time of 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 44 seconds.
GG's Mecha Link. We'll see if we can't get Mecha to join us as well as soon as we get Harumph set up as well.
For anyone who's watching and is interested in either getting involved in the community or just wants to play the game on their own and just have some fun with it, feel free to join our Discord, or as long as you have a Final Fantasy IV ROM, you can start playing this, and it's a lot of fun. You don't have to play in a race. Some people play just to have fun, and you get to learn a lot about a game that, is or should be considered a classic at this point, in my opinion.
No, absolutely, it's a classic. I don't think many of us would be here if it wasn't a classic.
And should you ever get stuck while playing a seed, you're more than welcome to join the Discord and ask around, or if you just want to talk to people about it.
Now's a great time to join the community as well. We have our late summer, early fall tournament that's getting ready to start up here before too long. Jump in, have fun with us. Your first tournaments are always a learning experience. I've been through many tournaments myself.
And for those, and then... Alright, give us one moment. I'm going to see if we could get a hold on our two people who we want to interview. Looks like we have a bit of audio difficulty right now.
Don't forget to go ahead and follow. A big thanks to Randomania for allowing us for hosting this particular Friday race. Go ahead and follow Randomania and all of their Randomania channels for other randomizer races and other things that are going on here within just the larger speedrun community as a whole.
And we are joined now by Mechalink. GG's.
Thank you. Ugh. That's...
You sound like you were personally attacked by the seed, man.
I don't know if I was... Okay, yeah, I kind of was. That early game was definitely something. Some things did not go my way, and some things didn't go my way because of course they weren't going to. The Ogopogo into Leviathan, I saw it coming. I was like, this is the only thing that gets me here. Then, yep.
Yeah, and that was that tripped up a lot of people. I mean, it wasn't just you; it tripped up a lot of people.
I mean, because we were all stuck with the same party, right? Like, so you didn't have any area healing, you didn't have any safety there, right? So it's like, okay, right, like you power through it with damage, and then, right, like you're fine in the next fight, and no, you're not, right? Like it does not surprise me that more than me ran into that problem.
The other thing that puts you in kind of a weird bind, because if you saw your time, if you subtract the 3 minutes it took to walk back to Z, because everyone else found a pass along the route at some point.
Like I checked 252 chests, 3 passes out there, I missed them all. Somehow. I don't know. I'm not sure where the pass that everybody got was. I can think of a few places that are likely that people looted that I didn't, but yeah.
I think there was at least one in Twin Heart Cave, which at least a couple people looted. Only one person was able to complete it.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. You were asking me if there's anything else, or?
No, I was gonna say there was one in the Twin Harp Cave.
Yeah.
Okay. Which was gated behind the Earth Crystal.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, like I've faded back ordeals because expecting essentially that if it was there, I was in bad shape. And eventually finding the Cecil that sent me to ordeals to use the crystal swords, and because I knew I could turn them on quickly, especially without a pass, and I sure did. But yeah, then finding the gauntlet there, just kind of like, oh well.
Yeah, the gauntlet, that was kind of a rude spot for the gauntlet in particular, just because we were talking about it on the stream. You're everything that you're looking for are in key items in your trap chests, and it just has almost no chests. None of them were trapped. 3
Yep.
bosses, and you're like, okay, well, there's a lot of boss locations, but might not be there. And of course, it's one of those.
Yep. That's exactly it, right? There's plenty of boss locations where you saw me kind of late check the free bosses for the same reason, right? Like there's a lot of bosses, right? Why spend time checking until you actually need to? Just one of those things you do in a large race that you might not do in a smaller race because you're right. Like if you're doing the same things everybody else does, you never win. Right, you have to find your angles to kind of do things differently than other people and hope that works out.
Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, that was kind of a low percent play that I know a couple people did, and it just ended up working out for them.
Right.
I do think that we're now joined by Harumph.
Oh, is your mic working, Harumph?
It is now, thank you.
All right.
Awesome. Well, GG's to both of you as you're going through this race. Tell me.
Thank you. I just want to say, let's let Harumph talk because I think this is this Harumph's first restream?
No, I've had a few restreams here.
Okay.
So like number 5 or 6 probably.
Oh wow.
I haven't counted at this point, but.
Cool. Well, I mean, I guess I'll ask both of you guys. How did the early dark matter seem to flow early? Like, how did that affect your guys' routing decisions? Did that make you try to focus more on that, or did it drive you in another direction?
I think right off the bat here, I figured here that the dark matter would be one of the 3 objectives I would be completing. I figured that that China Babel would be like a last ditch. Like a last resort. It would take care of the grind, I suppose, here. But yeah, once the dark matter's up to about 25 here, we're fairly easy to come by here, and then it's always finding those last few, right?
Yeah, I agree. I was expecting dark matter to be one of the 3. It was just a question of whether we found Twin Heart before we found Gauntlet or Darkness, and for me the answer was I never found Twin Heart.
Yeah, in my case, I never found Darkness Crystal here, so Moon did not get touched at all.
I never found a pass. I opened 252 chests and no pass.
And I found 2.
That's how it goes sometimes.
And to be fair, Harumph, you were the only one who did the Twin Harp. Everyone else said, "Well, I got the Darkness Crystal. I might as well go up and do the Giant." You're the only one who showed us music.
Interesting. I feel like you never got Tower Key then either. It was in Babel. It was Trap Chest in Babel.
No, I never even touched Babel at all here. So it's like, yeah, it was. I figured here, like, to play in the underground here was to try to go sylph cave here, just because there's a higher concentration of chests as well as trap chests here to try to find the key items.
But I do feel like Babel is a close second because 4 trap chests that are relatively easy to maul and decent odds in general on Wild. But I can see skipping it too, just being like, let's wait till we see Tower Key or something, right? But yeah, that's where Darkness was hiding.
Yeah, the benefit with the Sylph cave is that it also acts as a bit of a a mini grind as well here. So
I agree. Sylph first, right? Like no question, right? Like I'm with you there. I just like after Sylph, right? Like Babel is a close second for me in terms of that, just because it's 5 key item locations, and that's the second best place, right? Like after the 7 shots plus 1 or 2 that you get in Sylph.
yeah, and then there's that little bit at the end here where I was going through my key items here to prep for this Ramos fight here, and I could have sworn I bought Bacchus wines at some point. I'm pretty sure I bought 5, and then I was like, oh crap, did I, in my other boss fight against the item list, that I accidentally trashed them?
Oh no. Yeah, I can see that.
So it was like a bit of a hunt there. So I was like, yeah, I might as well try a Bacchus wines here. And then I'm guessing Sylph. I never checked it, but I'm guessing Sylph Web's probably in Kaipo. So I'll go there, grab some, and then just go into the fight. That nearly went sideways here. Fortunately, the Meteor didn't hit too hard.
I'm trying to remember, where were Silk Webs?
Kaipo.
It was Kaipo? Okay. Yeah. I picked up, by the time I got Hook and went down Ebling Cave, I bought 20 Bacchus. Like, money was not an issue. I bought 4 crystal rings and 20 Bacchus. And, like, I just, so much, even with a quarter money, it just had so many resources.
And so many Masamoons for Edge, too. And I don't think there was one in there.
Yeah, 3 Masamoons at least. 3 Masamoons at least. 2 crystal swords that I saw. 4, 5 defense swords. Like,
there's a lot of sense swords, a lot of dragoon spears as well. It was there was a lot of stuff to slice and dice with for sure.
Oh yeah, that's kind of the nature of this flags. I mean, it's for those that like at this point. I do want to say, thank you both for joining us. We're going to try to get things wrapped up here. Do you have any final thoughts before we get things going?
No, I think my final boss was actually Discord. Just getting the mic to work here. That was a long-winded scene, but it was a lot of fun. So
yeah, remember, Cecil doesn't take much to get online. You can take him from 1 to 40 something in 2 moon fights. Never forget, Crystal Sword Cecil.
Crystal Sword Cecil's the thing here. I just had to find a place other than the moon because.
Right. Yeah. But since I didn't have the moon, since I had the moon, it was just like I took 2 trap chests, and Cecil was 46.
Yeah, I don't think Cecil was even at 40 when I took the Zeramas fight here. But yeah, with a crystal sword, adamant, 2 adamants there, and a power shirt. Yeah, everyone was the.
Yep.
It was just. Yeah, we're just gonna. Swing our arms at Zeramas and.
I ditched Eddie for a half second, and then since you never got to the moon, you never got the spoon. Spoon was in hair dryers, so I dropped Eddie for a hot second, then found the spoon, turned around, and got Eddie again. So I was full quint at the end.
I got to use my favorite Eddie strategy, which is Eddie hugging the floor.
Oh yeah, my Eddie got to do both. He got to start out with some good damage, and then because he was wearing power shirt, despite having a protect ring, Big Bang put him on the floor. So.
All right. Well, thank you guys. One last shout out to all of our featured runners: Zilch, Commander Leonhard, Mecha Lake, and the Harumph. Again, a shout out to our wonderful trackers, Twisted Flax and Elias the Panda. One last shout out to our restreamer Scala Kitty, who is always fantastic and one of our leaders in the community. And again, Tower Sheet, my wonderful co-commentator.
It was wonderful to commentate right beside you, Fantasia. It's always fun to be in the booth.
Absolutely. I have fun with it quite a bit myself. Without that, we are actually, if everyone wants to stick around, we are going to be rating Asuka424, who is doing some practice with some 3 zone training. So if everyone wants to stick around, we're going to be rating and I'm going to be jumping in on this. For those of us here at the Free Enterprise Network, thank you so much, and we'll see you at the next race.